to our latest webinar, The Do's and Don'ts of Twitter. My name is Dominique and I am an online marketing professional here at Melbourne IT. Now on the line to answer any questions you may have is Ju, our social media marketing consultant. She's a wealth of information and specialises in social media for small businesses. Now before we get started, there are a couple of housekeeping things to go over. At the top right hand side of the screen you'll see a control panel. This is where you can let me know during the webinar of any technical issues. If you can't see what I see, if you can't hear me, let me know as soon as you can and I'll try to rectify it as quickly as possible for you. Now in the spirit of being social, we're going to be answering questions that you might have using Twitter. We've got a Twitter hashtag up there as well. It's DADOT, which is our shortened versions of do and don'ts of Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, you can use Citrix, but you can also email us at getonlinemelbourneIT.com, and also you can ask a question via Facebook as well, facebook.com/MelbourneIT. Ju will be monitoring all of those during the webinar. After the webinar, you'll automatically receive an email that will contain a link to download the slides for your reference. We'll also have a recording attached as well. So don't worry too much about taking down notes. Just sit back, listen, try to get it all in, get an understanding for yourself. Don't be too worried about keeping tabs of anything. There's all of the information will be available for you after. We'll also, my email address will be attached to the emails that you will have received already and will receive tomorrow, so you can always contact me if you have any problems. Okay, let's get into it. Today we're going to touch briefly on the background of Twitter and how you can use it to market your business. We'll then go through the top 5 tips on what you should and what you shouldn't do, and then we'll end with a quick checklist on how you can get started on the social media platform. So by now you should definitely have heard of Twitter and what it does. Since its creation 6 years ago, we've seen Twitter gain momentum as more and more big brands, political leaders, celebrities use the social medium on a daily basis. In the last 2 years or so, we've even seen a large number of news stories break and trend on Twitter before they hit the major news sites. In terms of a social tool for small businesses though, Twitter hasn't had the uptake that Facebook has. According to Census, 97% of small businesses use Facebook, but only 14% of small businesses use Twitter. We think this is a little bit of a shame, especially if you have anyone in under 40 as your target audience. Twitter really is a great relationship building and relationship maintenance tool that you can use to develop and promote your brand. You can interact with customers, build stronger relationships, track what people are saying about your company, about your industry, create the buzz that you need around upcoming events or promotions. You can share and promote content as well. So I'm just going to go through some key stats so you can sort of see what we're sort of saying. Twitter is the second most popular social media platform behind Facebook in terms of users. There are 555 million users on Twitter at the moment. And in terms of demographics, you can see with this next slide that people aged 26 to 34 use it the most at 30%, and then you've got the 35 to 44 at 27%. So if you've got anyone in that demographic range, you really should be thinking about getting on Twitter and starting to build that following with them. Some key stats as to why people sort of follow a company or a brand: to get updates on future products, to stay informed about the activities of a company, and to receive discounts and promotions. All of that stuff is really great for you to do as well. About 55% of people who use Twitter access it via their mobile, and 40% of people who have a Twitter account don't actually tweet, but they use it to keep track of what other people are saying. This really ties in with the previous chart that sort of says the main reasons why people follow companies is to stay informed and to receive discounts. All right, let's get into the tips. The first one on what you should do on Twitter is to optimize your profile page. When you set up your account, we recommend using your company name so people can easily find you. So you can see that we've got our example at Melbourne IT. Basically, when people say Twitter handle, it's just your username. So it's at Melbourne IT, at whatever it is. Twitter also allows 160 characters worth of information to be displayed in your biography. Include a couple of keywords in your biography. Don't spam it with too many though. It's good to include some because search engines often display your Twitter bio in the description on the results page. You can also customize the colors of your page to match your brand. You can add a background image, include an icon that can showcase your personality or your brand. Now our second, just on the creating a custom background, one improvement that you can do straight away is to include your logo, company name, URLs and contact details actually on your background itself. I'll show you a couple of examples in a minute of people that use Twitter really well and some improvements that they can make, but some live examples so you can sort of bring all of these tips together. Now the second tip is to use hashtags. You can see that I've had a couple of questions about hashtags already. So hashtags are basically, as you can see, hashtag travel, hashtag my event. You might have seen during The Voice that there was hashtag Voice AU. A lot of the TV shows do it now. Hashtag Don't Tell the Bride AU, that kind of thing. Basically, the hashtag is a way for people to read a trend. So when you do a tweet, you can add a hashtag and that will go to another area where there's a trend of all the hashtags so you can see other people mentioning that particular tag. Now, this is a really great way, I'll show you one in a minute, but this is a really great way of gaining followers because if you've got mentions in that Twitter feed, in that hashtag, then other people are going to see that. They might click over to you and follow you, bam, you've got a follower. All right, so you can even do it like you can host an event, you can create a hashtag for the event, all that kind of thing. I'll show you them in a minute. Number 3 is when using Twitter, to hit what we call the tweet spot. Basically, this is just about engagement rate and the number of tweets that you use per day. So you can see here that we've actually got a graph that kind of shows that between 1 and 4 tweets a day is a great engagement level. This sort of really depends on what industry you're in, whether you're tweeting out, whether you're retweeting, all that kind of thing if you're responding. But we like to say at least start with 1 a day and then look at increasing it and being quite fluid with it. Don't be too worried about always hitting the 1 or 2 every day. You can schedule tweets ahead of time, and also research shows that people are most active during the beginning of the workday, the middle of the workday, and the end. So you can sort of see in trends when people on trains and buses, they use their mobile, they have a look, they try to be entertained, they look at their Twitter feed, they do that at lunchtime when they're having something to eat, and that's a good time to schedule tweets as well. Another great feature and benefit of using Twitter is its ability to drive traffic to your website or your blog. So keep your posts interesting by posting links to news articles, your blog, your website, a video or a photo. Research has shown that tweets with images have a higher engagement rate, so 2 times higher than tweets without image links. So, try and be as visual and interactive as you can. Tip number 4 is to respond when necessary. While replying back to every tweet with an upbeat thank you is really good, so every good feedback it's great, but it's kind of better to sort of skew it more to responding to the tweets like questions and negative feedback. always try to respond to negative feedback, even if you have to take it offline, so get them to direct message you instead of keeping it on your feed. Any questions, that kind of thing. Questions, if you answer questions, it really does show that, demonstrate that you're trying to get them engaged and trying to help them, which can reflect well on your brand. Alright, so let's just quickly go over to something I prepared earlier before we get to number 5. So here is some examples that I put together for you. Now the first one that I've got here is Live Strong. Now, Live Strong are a cancer support group based in America, I believe. Now, what I really like about their background that you can see here is that it's really bold. There's, black and yellow are really great color things to make it really stand out. On the left-hand side, they've got all of their information, the ways that you can contact them. Really cute little images there, little vector images to show what they do. So they've got Facebook, they've got a blog. All of that information is actually on the left-hand side, which I really love. Their blurb is really great. It's to the point. It tells you in 140 characters or less exactly what they do. There's a link to their website, which is great as well. They've got a strong following. They've got a high number of tweets. They also mention their hashtag #LiveStrong card as well, and I'll show you the hashtag here. So see in this tweet here how you can see at Lance Armstrong blah blah blah, hashtag #LiveStrong card. Let me click over here. This is the hashtag. Basically it's just a trend of everyone that mentions this particular thing. So every single person, you can see that there's lots of different users that use this particular hashtag, and that really just sort of collates all of the information in one place. So I can, go and click on Andrew Nelson, go to him, and then see what he's doing, and maybe I want to decide to follow him. It's really just a great way for following. The next one that I want to show you is White Point Photography. Now what I want to show you is their fully integrated social media stuff. So this is their website. On the left-hand side of their website, they've got all of their social media buttons: Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, all of the things that they're involved in. And if you click on their Twitter icon, you can see that they've actually integrated their feed into their website, which I think is a really nifty feature. And if we go over, we'll go to their Facebook next. I really want to show you how well integrated they are. Their Facebook is there. A way to make it a little bit more integrated would be to have their Twitter handle in their About page, in the timeline there, or they could even do an app with their Twitter handle in it, so it's easy for the people to go to. But there's immediate brand recognition there, so you can tell immediately where you're going because of the pictures that they've used, all that kind of thing. Now this one is their Twitter. What I think that they've done really well is they've got all of their contact information in their bio. They have a fair few tweets, not too many, and they've got a sort of a smaller following, but it's about comparable to their Facebook. They've got lots of photos, recent images, that kind of thing. They do have a customized background, but I would suggest that they could maybe customize their background even more by putting their details on the left-hand side, and by really showcasing what they do. They're photographers and they've got really beautiful photos, so they really should maybe try and see what a photo would look like, or maybe do a collage of their photos. You don't want it to be too busy, but you do want it to be there. And I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity, but they are doing really well. They're one of the 14% of businesses that are actually on Twitter and using it. So I think that they've integrated it quite well. Okay. Now number 5 on what you should do is using a free app or an app to monitor and schedule tweets. So we use Hootsuite here at Melbourne IT. You can also use TweetDeck. There are lots of different ones. Just Google, sort of monitor and scheduling tweets, and you'll be able to find a few. What I like about this is that you can actually schedule tweets at different times. So you don't always have to be at your computer, you know, making sure that you're doing everything, putting all the tweets in, that kind of thing. You can get everything ready, get all the links ready, do it all, and then it can happen with you you not being at your computer. You guys are really time poor, and it's important that you are across everything. So it's good to just sit down, maybe plan out a couple of tweets, a couple of Facebook posts. You can put them all into the social media monitoring systems, and then they can go out without you really needing to touch them. Okay, so let's go on to the what you shouldn't do with Twitter. Now these ones are quite self-explanatory, but I wanted to put them in so that you get like a well-rounded view of what we're doing. Don't just use words with Twitter. Tweets that actually have like links and that kind of thing, they have a much higher engagement rate. You want to put the photos in, that kind of thing. There's a couple of apps that you can use. So TwitPic is a good one that you can actually just put your pictures in there. You can also use Instagram, and they're all really great. Don't spam. Every tweet shouldn't be an ad for your company. Now this is a really simple one, but something that I've seen far too often, and you really need to limit the sales pitches. The same with Facebook, the same with any other social platform you use, email, that kind of thing. Make sure that you also try to raise that engagement level. Don't just have tweets about how great you are, because it's not good. Don't be irrelevant. Do the quality over the quantity. So if you don't have anything to say, you can't find anything to say, don't say it. You don't want to be that person who talks about what they eat for breakfast and how many times they go to the gym, because that's just annoying. Don't repeat what you say. Don't do too many of the same things. And number 5 is don't abuse your followers. Now, we'll go one step further just to say be professional. There are always going to be people who have bad things to say about you, especially in social media. We've found that it's quite a faceless medium. People can say what they want to say in the middle of them being at their height of angry, so they're at their peak anger, and they're just like, I just want to tell someone, I want to abuse them, and that happens. So you really need to try and keep that level of professionalism. Just try and diffuse the situation as quickly as you can, and as softly as you can, just as if they were in your store or they were in your face talking to you. Make sure that you give them a solution, try as hard as you can to work for them, and just resolve things offline if you can, during direct messaging and that kind of thing. Okay, so this is your Twitter checklist. You'll get this in an email tomorrow, but I just wanted to show you it's going to be a really great way for you to go back and have a look and click on and cross off what you've actually done, that kind of thing. So try and see if you can integrate the social media buttons on your website, get a customized Twitter background, complete your profile, follow other Twitter accounts. So the way to get followers is to really follow to start off with. Look for businesses that you love, look for industry leaders, look for people that you respect, anything, go into the trend things that are related to your business. Have a look at the people who are talking about it, see how many followers they have, look at what they talk about. If you think it's interesting for you, follow them. Industry partners, all of that kind of thing. It's also great to retweet those things that your industry talks about, because that can help gain followers too, and include hashtags as well. Consider using an app to monitor and schedule your tweets. Use a link shortener as well, so you don't waste all of those characters, because you can only use 140 characters. We actually recommend that you use about 100, because there's a higher engagement rate for the shorter tweets. So between 100 and 120 characters is really great. Even though you have 140, try to keep it as succinct as possible. And, just start tweeting. Don't be afraid. Just give it a go, because, everyone has to start somewhere. And the way to get the engagement is to just start. Try not to do anything that's going to be annoying to anyone, but just give it a go and follow people and see how you go. Okay, that brings us to the end of our webinar today. I really hope this information has been helpful for you and that you've taken away a couple of tips, learnt a little bit more about Twitter. If you have any questions, there's a number on this screen. You can also give me an email as well. My information will be on the emails that you will have already received and that you will receive tomorrow with all of the extra webinar stuff. And thank you so much for attending, and I hope to speak to you again soon.